When I started my journey, I realized the importance of it. I didn't really comprehend how important it is and how much it is going to be the thing that will make me jacked, but I knew that it is important, and you might be like my younger self too. So I remember day one of my journey, like sitting here on this bed, like this bed, scrolling on TikTok, right? Watching a few videos and then going and scrolling more and more and more, and seeing that motivational video in the context of day one or one day. Something like that, and a few videos like with the context of daily grind day 156, start working hard, work out daily. These videos, the cringe ones, right? I got a spark of motivation because for the time before that point, I started to get interested in weight loss. I wanted to lose weight basically, and that was the thing that triggered me to get out of that bed, to go to my bathroom and take my before photo. This photo basically represented a promise to myself. I promised to myself that I will not fail and this journey is going to be epic. I knew what failure is. And failure is not doing the thing that I am about to reveal to you. And if you don't do it to a certain extent, you do it below that extent, that might be one reason to why you are not making that much progress in the gym. Now this one thing is so damn important, because think about training and diet and rest and recovery basically. Doing the important things in these endeavors is so damn important for getting jacked. And the thing that might be the reason to why you are not making that much progress is, so all of these things, they are on top of that massively important thing. And the thing about this thing is that the fitness industry, a bunch of men in it, and women, and whatever, I don't care what you are, ignore it. Not because of its lack of importance, but because of how obvious doing it is. But I see a lot of the people around me, some of my friends too, falling into this massive pitfall, and due to that they make like 20, 30, 10% less gains. Now that's not a massive number, but that's something that if you don't do to the biggest extent, so they don't do it to the biggest extent, you lose all of your gains. So you might have probably realized what it is, because I have hinted to it so obviously that if you don't realize what it is, here it is. So before that, there are 3 ways to improve on it and make the act of doing it easier, and this thing is basically consistency. Now this is a massive reason to why you are not making as much progress as you could, because think about it like this. When you go and train, you do the action that gets you more jacked. When you go and you eat that meal that is good for muscle gain, that contains a lot of protein, that is good in relation to your goals when it comes to calories, you progress towards getting more jacked, either by losing body fat or gaining muscle, or both. But that's about doing these actions. When you don't do them, so you might have all of the knowledge in the world, you might know the exact mechanisms behind getting jacked, how the fucking hormones work, how training affects the muscle, how hypertrophy is induced, and you know every little detail about this process, everything. But if you don't go and do and induce that process that causes muscle gain, you lose by default. Knowledge is useless without actually going and implementing it. And there are 3 ways to improve consistency, and by implementing all of them, you make the act of becoming more consistent easier, more effortless. The first one out of them is realizing how important it is. Because think about it like this, we all have priorities, we all prioritize things on top of other things. When you realize that one thing is extremely important, you prioritize it over another thing. When you realize that going to your workout today is extremely important for getting you jacked because it builds the habits, all of the second order consequences of these actions contributes to your goal of getting more jacked. When you realize this, you go today because you prioritize it on top of something else that might take this time instead. And the first way is realizing the importance of going today for the sake of habit building, for the sake of actually like triggering the muscle building process that will cause you to gain like 0.005% more muscle gain. Triggering this process and also building the habit that will cause you to go next times. By realizing how important it is, especially for habit building, you go more because you actually prioritize it on top of something else that you think to be less important. The second way is to have a strong word. Think about it like this. If you have been following your words 100% of the times, like if you said that you would do something, you would go and do it, no matter what, regardless. Unless like the outside circumstances like don't even allow you to do it, not even to the smallest extent. If you were to have this word, if your word was that strong, and you said that you would go to today's workout, would you go to it? Probably yes, because you don't want that word to lose its power. Breaking it becomes hard. You don't want to break it. I'm talking from freaking experience. I used to be the guy who not necessarily had no word, followed it most of the times but sometimes break it, and I went from that guy to the guy who never breaks it, and drew to that. When I say that I will go to that workout today, I fucking go to it and finish it. When you have a strong enough word and you build it through proving to yourself that you have it, when you say that you will go to that workout, you go to it. Basically, you become more consistent through your word. And that's the second way. The third way is very simple. It is about making the act. So it's all about asking this guiding question. How can I make the act of going to today's workout, of doing the action that is good, easier? It is all about making it more effortless, easier, more fun. So there are a lot of ways to do that, to make it easier. You can make it more fun, and then the perceived hurdle of doing it will become lower. You can also make it shorter, but still get the same benefits. Time frame that you will see in doing it will be shorter, which will make it funner. You can also make the last few minutes fun, and then your perceived memory of that activity will be more positive. You will be more likely to go tomorrow. How can you increase both the perceived hurdle of going to it, of doing it, of eating that meal, and the actual process of going to it? So it's all about the discrepancy between you now, you in the activity itself, how you perceive it, and after the activity, between the activity and post-activity. How can you make it easier? Here's an example on how to do that. Let's say you going to the gym. Let's ask the question, how can I make the act of going to the gym easier? One way is to sign up for a closer gym, to make the trade-off of $20 more for having an easier time going to the gym. That's one way. The second way is listening to a podcast on your way to the gym, because by listening to it, you make the act of going to the gym more fun. And there are more ways. You need to trigger creativity and find all of these ways, and by implementing them and doing them, guess what will fucking happen? You will be more consistent. Because we as humans, we don't like pain. That's just our nature. And when we make the act of doing the right actions less painful, we do them more. And that's not only this thing less painful by itself, but also this thing less painful by itself with the added benefit of the long-term consequences that will trigger this positive feedback loop that will continuously get confirmed, and you will slowly become the guy who trains when he needs to. You will become more consistent, and through consistency with the right actions. So the right actions is actually the easy part, because you can go and search online and be open-minded. If you're open-minded enough to learn, you allow yourself to learn, and actually finding the information that is accurate, that is proven by the mechanisms of training, and also proven through proof, and you implement it consistently, you get jacked. And that's basically it. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe. If you want to get free stuff from me, link in the description. Bye.